dollar, that's what I need. Hey, hey. Well, I need a dollar, that's what I need. Hey, hey. Said I need a dollar, that's what I need. And if I share with you my story, would you share your dollar with me? Bad times are coming and I reap what I done sow. Hey.
It's like the 18-month span was right on time. That wound up giving everybody time to heal some from the street, you know, and then kind of get yourself together. Everybody surrounded just their lives around that 18 months, though. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody had to sign their paperwork. 18 months. It ain't been 8 months yet. And they like go, oh, we want the hotel now. And that's just all the way wrong, man, because I'm quite sure all of us signed Arlington just informed. They had to sign something also on their end. Yeah. And there's no way in any shape, fashion, or form in California you cannot brief no contract. That's right. So I mean, that right there alone, that's a serious issue there. You know what I'm saying? Because some of these elderly people older than me, a lot of folks don't have nowhere to go though, and they don't have people to speak up for them. So I'm here talking, acting for those who can't actually talk for themselves. I do actually have a speech impediment, but I know how to get my words out. You can see that.
Yeah, this podcast from a poverty scholar is dedicated to all my fellow poverty scholars who, how you gonna shelter in place if you don't got a place? And today's podcast from a poverty scholar is specifically dedicated to my fellow poverty scholars, houseless scholars living in a tent because they don't got money for the rent in occupied Lealamu, that's Frisco, gentrification city, who over the last 8 months of the shelter-in-place mandate, just like cities all across this stolen land, were told to stop sweeping us houseless folks in our tents and our belongings like we are trash. Note the name sweep, equating humans with trash. Yeah, well, these cities and these politicians were told stop sweeping by the Centers for Disease Control because it wasn't in compliance with CDC guidelines. But from Philly to Sacramento to San Francisco to Oakland to LA, the sweeps continued every day. And equally important, so did the hate. Only because of housed advocates, houseless revolutionaries, poverty scholars shouts out to the Coalition on Homelessness, house the Bay, do no harm, ACE, and so many more who refused to stand down. Poor Magazine, Poverty Scholars, and so many more protesting and pushing, not to mention the millions of dollars of homeless services flowing into these cities. Finally, some of the politrickster mayors, like San Francisco's London Breed and Oakland's Libby Schaaf, begrudgingly granted some of the thousands of empty hotel and motel rooms to the houseless residents of their cities. We pay for these rooms. Ronnie X spoke to this poverty scholar like Brother Anthony did, who you heard from in the beginning of this podcast. Told us that they had to agree that $400 of their $480 welfare crumb check would be allocated to pay for the motel room before they even moved in, which none of them had no problem with. But don't act like these rooms are charity. Don't act like these rooms are a favor. Don't act like these rooms were a gift. These cities were paid millions of dollars, and these poor people and houseless folks had to kick down their crumb, and they all had contracts. But guess what? when you houseless and seen as garbage and trash to be swept, they don't think they got a mess. They don't think they got to worry about reneging contracts. Oh, that's right, we live in occupied Turtle Island where they've been making fake contracts and paper trails that are filled with blood with indigenous and poor people since the beginning of this theft called the United Snakes. Yeah, this formerly houseless daughter and single mama had the blessing of sitting down with 10 currently houseless ShelterInPlace hotel residents in San Francisco to record a Roofless radio segment on the impending eviction by San Francisco Mayor Breed of thousands of ShelterInPlace residents, 500 of whom are being told they will be thrown out 4 days before Crapolismas, in the middle of winter, in a global pandemic. These PostTraumatc to PostTraumatc conversations were made possible because of the infiltrations of some housed allies who walked alongside of us, houseless folks and poor people, at Poor Magazine's Stolen Land Hoarded Resources tour through Occupied Yalamu last week, where we proposed a land back proposal to the politricksters and wealth hoarders. Yeah, how about that? So that these aren't temporary housing. This isn't for 18 months or 3 years. This is forever. I was born and raised in Frisco. I'm from the Fillmore, and it gets rough on these cold streets. Anthony concluded. Anthony, who you heard, is like most of the ShelterInPlace residents we had the blessing of meeting, and most of the ShelterInPlace residents who've been sheltered. They are disabled, they are black and brown and poor, and they are elders. Elders. Like what you gonna do? Throw your grandmother, your grandfather, your abuelito, your abuelita out on the street? As each of these scholars spoke, my bones ached with the pain of outsideness. It's maybe an odd idea for folks who haven't tried to stay alive while also sleeping outside, but my PTHD, that's post-traumatic homeless disorder, comes to me in waves to this day, out of nowhere. From literally years of being on the street trying to live houselessly with mama as a child, starting at age 11, and then later as an adult with my infant son, post-gentrification, eviction, out of the mission, behind a $700 rent increase. The terror, the bone-crunching cold, the inability to ever stop looking behind your back, feel safe, get dry, know where your next meal, dry blanket, or hot shower is coming from. These are all unspeakable terrors, almost lost to our human ability to keep on keeping on no matter what. But when you get inside for the first time in a long while, like all the ShelterInPlace residents expressed to us, little things like hot running water over your cold hands, a toilet that flushes, a shower that's hot. These are huge blessings. Why I constantly shiver to this day, why I can't ever really get warm, and why I sit with my Mama D and other poverty scholar ancestors at the Homefulness altar and thank them and Creator and Spirit and Orishas every day for this roof that me and my son have, which is part of the landless peoples movement we houseless and indigenous peoples call homefulness. Yeah, homefulness. That's a homeless people's solution to homelessness. And it's the same template we proposed on the Stolen Land Tour to AKK Demia Wealth Hoarder UC Hastings and SF Mayor London Breed. Homefulness for those thousands of ShelterInPlace residents, so they never have to be on those cold streets again. You got people that for the first time in their lives have been able to get their shit together, a warm bed, a roof above our heads. Now you're going to see overdoses, to be honest. Nick, another powerful poverty scholar, spoke to us And sadly, he was right. Like the terror of not having access to a roof, recovery from any of the man's poisons is almost impossible when you're struggling just to stay warm, just to sleep, just to put your head down in a place where you don't have to look behind your back. It becomes the reason so many of us poverty scholars begin to use these man's poisons in the first frickin' place. And then those addictions just keep on coming. I feel like they took advantage of us. It's just not right at all. Felicia, a soft-spoken poverty scholar who joined the conversation, added, "These are contracts and they think of us like garbage, to be thrown out. That's why they think they don't have to honor them." Myrna, a houseless shelter-in-place resident and fierce poverty scholar advocate. Yeah, that's right. You can be an advocate and also be on the street. Shout out to Cooper from Houseless Bay, Street Medic, and Mama Junebug, and Mama Teresa, and Memphis, and so many more. To Papa Bear, Ibaye, to my Mama D. We were houseless, we are houseless, and we still kick down for each other. That's called interdependence, fam. And that's how us poor people been living since 528 years in the stolen land. Myrna was right. And no matter whether people believe the capitalist hater lies about us being trash, the reality is we got contracts. And there is such a thing as tenant rights. Not to mention the city and county of San Francisco has rent control. And guess what? These folks have lived in those shelter-in-place hotels for over 28 days. So whether you like it or not, politricksters, they got tenant rights. And for everyone else, we got human rights. So join us. Join every conscious person standing up for our brothers and sisters in these moments. December 9th, at the ShelterInPlace Budget Committee of the Board of Supervisors at 11 a.m. in San Francisco, and put those public comments in, please. Join us in demanding a land back proposal for all houseless people in occupied Yelamu, occupied Uchen, occupied Tangva, and all across Turtle Island, because guess what? Mama Earth ain't never been for sale. And we need to continue to stop selling and buying her and throwing us poor people away like we're trash.
Hey, well, let me tell you something. All that glitters ain't gold. Hey, it's been a long old troublesome road. And I'm looking for somebody come and help me carry this load. I need a dollar.